A very warm welcome to Anil Nair classes. I'm Sheetal, your English trainer. We have till now done a lot of classes in terms of different parts of speech like noun, pronoun, subject verb agreement. We have done verbs. And now the next very important chapter which we are going to start today is tense. See, related to these topics which we have done, there are two major type of questions which you can solve them correctly in terms of your competitive exams, like your error spotting and your sentence correction. Sentence correction you can say, or you can also say your sentence improvement. Whatever you say, they are the same thing. Sentence correction or sentence improvement. These are the two major question types where these parts of speech will help. However, if you have a strong hold over command over these rules, you may be able to do your reading comprehension, reading comp, plus your close tests also properly, close test, and then we have your fillers. All this you can do very easily because some or the little help definitely you will get with the help of the knowledge which you are acquiring this. And majority of students, they come back to me and they say the tense is a nightmare for them. And I have seen people learning English and they say teach me tense. See, tense is not that difficult how you people assume or feel. It's just that little concept is there, no rocket science. Try to understand the concept, then you will definitely be able to get through it. So we know that you will get 5 questions at least related to these error spotting or the sentence correction type. Out of that, you can easily assume at least 2 to 3 questions will be there related to all these topics which you are doing. And if it is related to the verb, along with the subject verb agreement also, they can check the verb tense error. So be very careful with that. Yes, it is important. Little bit more is there in this chapter as compared to the other chapters, but still it doesn't matter. If your concepts are clear, you can solve questions very easily. It won't be at all difficult for you. So let's move ahead and start the things. See, we have the different tenses. Tenses helps us to know that the time when that particular action has taken place, right? With the help of the helping verb, we determine the time. At what time the action has taken place. This is a simple thing, it is there, right? What time the action has taken place. Let's have a look at the first tense, which is the present tense, right? In the present tense, the singular verb ends with S. In present tense, singular verb ends with S or ES, right? Now, there are 3 to 4 different rules why we will use or when we will use these present tense, right? So, we'll start off with the first rule. So the first rule is like when you have the repeated actions, the actions which are repeated over a time and which are usual, your habits. So what all actions you'll repeat a habit. If you have a hobby, you'll do it every day, or a daily event or schedule is there. So any hobby, event or scheduled event is something which you will do it repeatedly. So those repeated actions, we will use the simple present tense. Clear? Let's see. We work very hard at Anil Nair classes. It's our habit, right? So once you join your our ANC Anil Nair classes, it will become your habit to work very hard. So we work very hard. Work is the plural form of the verb in the present tense and we is the plural subject. So the subject verb agreement is there, and since it is a plural verb, it's not ending with S. So this says S and ES, it goes for your singular verb, right? She does not play tennis. This is again, does is the singular verb, she is the singular subject. This is ending in S, and here also we are talking about her hobby, or it is her habit, that she doesn't have a hobby or she's not having a habit of playing tennis. The train does not leave at 9, it leaves at 10. So does and leaves, both are the verbs which are in the present tense, and they are talking about a scheduled event over here. Next is when does the train usually leave. So does leave is the verb, does is again the present tense, because again you're talking about a daily event, right? You're talking about a daily event or a schedule. She always forgets her purse. Always is the it's talking about the frequency, right? So it's always means it's a daily event. Forgets is the present tense. So we know it's a daily event or it is her habit. Repeated event it is coming. So all these places the repeated actions, habits, hobby, events are there or schedule events are there. So we have used the present tense. Clear? Next, if there is a newspaper headline, so we know the newspaper may whatever the headline has come, the action has already happened, right? It's happened, but still when the next present day, the paper comes, the headlines will always be in the simple present tense. So Sachin receives Bharat Ratna. Receives is in the present tense. It's a singular verb. People's president passes away. Again, passes singular verb in the present tense. So it is ending with the S. So these are the newspaper headlines. Right? The event has already happened, but still when it becomes an event, will become the newspaper headline. It will be in the simple present tense. Next one, exclamatory sentences beginning with here and there. So all those exclamatory sentences which will start with here and there we will use the simple present tense. Like here comes the school bus. It's starting with here, there, their adverb. Comes is the simple present, right? Singular verb. Comes the school bus. Exclamatory sentence. There goes the car under the cat under the car. Goes is the singular form of the verb in the simple present tense. And here we have the exclamatory mark, right? So the second one is exclamatory mark. Third one is when you're having a live commentary. Usually the commentary you will see in the form of the common spots when they are explaining you what happened during that spot, or some narrative, or they're describing the events. That time the live commentary will be there. So during the live commentary also we will use the simple present tense. Like ball hits the net and she loses the point. So hits and loses both are in the simple present tense. And they both are singular verbs in the simple present tense. And we have already discussed in present tense, singular verb ends with S, right? Next slide. So you know that there are 4 reasons. Let's revise once, right? So let's write down before moving. So the first one is repeated action. So any action which is repeated, or the newspaper headline. Then we talk about the exclamatory sentences which starts with the here and there. And the fourth one is your live commentary. So all these 4 events we will use the simple present tense. Clear? So I'll repeat again. Repeated action, newspaper headlines, exclamatory sentences which are starting with here and there, and the live commentary. All these will be having the simple present tense. Fine. Next one. Now if you look at these 2 sentences which are given below. First says, I don't know what do they pay him for his work. So what kind of a sentence it is? We can say it's an assertive sentence. It's making an assertion. What do they pay him for his work? So it's an interrogative sentence because they are asking the questions, right? In the first sentence, the question is not being asked, but in the second question is asked, right? So what's the structure? So we have the WH words, then we have the helping verb, then the main verb. In between the helping verb and the main verb, we have the subject. But in the simple assertive sentence, the structure will be first the subject and then the helping verb and the main verb will come together. Say like Ravi is playing the piano. So is the helping verb, playing is the main verb. So they both are coming together, helping verb plus the main verb, and the subject is Ravi. So this is the general structure, but not what has happened in these sentences. Now if you look at the first sentence which says, I don't know what do they pay him for his work. It is incorrect. For the very simple reason, because it's an assertive sentence. See the structure. The structure which they have used is of the interrogative sentence, right? So now what they say, what? What is the WH word? Do is the helping verb. They is the subject. And then the main verb is there. So this is something which we use it for the interrogative sentence. We don't use it for the assertive sentence. Which is why the sentence structure is wrong. Right? I don't know what they pay him for his work. So then this is the correct one, because here what is the WH word? They is the subject. Then pay is the verb. Then it is fine. Right? What will be followed by the subject? So immediately after the what, the subject should come, because what is of course a relative pronoun. It can act as the relative as well as the interrogative sentence. So if it is acting as a relative pronoun, the subject will immediately come after the what. Clear? Next one. Now form of the verb, simple form. So form of the verb will be in the simple past. The next thing is simple past. Simple past mein verb in the past tense will be used. So we use the simple past for any action which is completed in the past. Right? To express some idea or an action which started and it finished at a specific time in the past. So the action started in the past. So it started plus finished. Both. Starting and finishing both were in the past. Right? So sometimes the speakers may not actually mention the specific time, but they do have one specific time in mind, that when this particular action started and when it finished. So starting and finishing both happened in the past. Clear? I saw a movie yesterday. So yesterday is past. Now the action started in the past and I completed in the past. Right? So which is why it is the past tense of the verb. But here we are having the simple past tense, right? I didn't see the play yesterday. I did not see the play yesterday. So did see is again the simple past, right? Yesterday helps us to know that it is the past event. Clear? Next one. Now when you're talking about a series of actions which are completed in the past, that time also we will talk about the simple past only. So any list it could be. So actions can happen: first action, second action, third action, and so on. You can have n number of actions, but all those actions started and finished in the past. Say like this: I finished work. So the first action is I finished the work. I walked to the beach. This is the second action. Third list is found a nice place to swim. This is the third action. So we have the series of actions, first, second, and third, and all the three are in the past tense. So finished, walked, and found. All three are in the past tense. Clear? He arrived from the airport at 8, checked into the hotel at 9, and met the others at 10. So arrived, checked, and met. All the three are in the simple past, and there is a series of action. First action, second action, and the third action. So when the series of completed action has been mentioned, all the actions will be in the simple past. Clear? So we learned till now two. The first one is anything which started in the past and ended in the past. Right? Specific time is there, may be given, may not be given, but the action started and finished in the past. That time we'll use the simple past. The second one is when you are having the series of actions. So you have the list of 1, 2, 3 actions. All the three happened in the past. So when you have the list, then all the items will be in the past only. Clear? So let's move ahead. Next one, special note, usage of do and does and did apart from the main word in the assertive sentence. So like we use the simple past in the series of completed actions. Now they are talking about the rule 2 only we are going on, right? So usage of do and does, when to use do, when to use does, and when did apart from the main verb in assertive sentences. Look at the sentences which are given below. See, I finished work, I walked to the beach, I found a nice place to swim. All the three actions are there in the series, right? So we have the first action, we have the second action, we have the third action. All the three are in the simple past only. He arrived from the airport, he checked into the hotel and met all three. So here also all the three are in the simple past only. Clear? Yeah. I did inform the police. So did is the past tense of the do. So do and does, they are in the present tense. Do is the plural form, does is singular, right? Did is the past tense. Clear? So I informed the police. I did inform the police is also fine, and I informed the police, that's also fine. Now let's see what's the difference. Right? In both the sentences, the simple past tense in the first sentence, did is used apart from the main verb. Did is used here simply to make it more emphasizing and lay stress. Right? So, I informed the police is just simply you're saying, I did inform. That means you're putting a stress on it, right? Do, does and did are used to lay more stress. So, always remember, whenever you use do, did, and does and did, you use them to lay more stress and apart from the main verb when you're using, right? So there are certain places where you can use it as the main verb also. So see the example, he did yoga in the morning. So that means this is, you're talking about some action which he performed in the morning, right? Right now we are not, when the sentence has been spoken, this time it's not the morning. Something else, like maybe in the evening we are talking, or we are talking in the afternoon. See, he did, that action of doing yoga is completed already in the morning. So that is why we have used the verb did over here. Clear? So sometimes did or do, does, did can act as the main verb also. Clear? Let's move ahead to the next slide. So will is the simple future form. So will, shall plus the verb will be used as the simple future. Say I will help him later. So will help is the simple future tense. Will you help him later? So will help is again the simple future. You will not help him later. Again, a negative sentence is there, but again, the simple future sentence only is there. Now, will is used to express the action which will take place in the future. Now, will often suggests that speaker will do something voluntarily. Like nobody is forcing. On your own, you are trying to do that action. A voluntary action of one speaker offers to do for someone else, right? You are voluntarily saying that I will do this for the other person, right? See, I will send you the information when I get it. So, I will send you. You're volunteering it. Nobody is forcing you to do this action for someone else. I will translate the email for Mr. Smith, right? Voluntarily, you're doing it for some other person like Mr. Smith. I will help you. Will you help me move this heavy table? So voluntarily you are asking, will you volunteer to help me? Will you make dinner? Somebody else will volunteer to make a dinner for you, right? I will not do your homework. So not is there means your negative way. You're saying, no, I will not do your homework, right? So you are voluntarily saying that, no, I will not do it. Clear? Next slide. Now, so we are dealing with the future tense. So for the future tense, we use will, right? Will or shall plus the verb should be there. Sometimes along with that will or shall, apart from that, we can also use be going to, right? So when you say I will be going to, I shall be going to, when you use along with will, shall, be going to, you are expressing a plan. When you talk about that plan, right? That plan it doesn't matter whether may or may not be realistic. Even if it is not realistic plan, but a plan is there. So that time you can use be going to, right? Something in the plan. When you are planning something, you will say, right? This intends to do something in the future. He made a plan, and it's not necessary that plan has to be realistic. Like he is going to spend his vacation in Hawaii. So he's not sure, like it's not volunteering or something. He is making a plan. He is going to spend. Right? Be means the will, to be form of any verb of to be can come. Be ke andar it can come is, are, right? We can have is, we can have are, right? Was, were, kuch bhi ho sakta hai. The second sentence you say, you can have it. Is, are, was, were. These are all your to be formed, right? So same way it is going to spend his vacation in Hawaii. He has a plan over here. He plans to spend. She is not going to spend her vacation in Hawaii. So not is for negative. That is fine. But is going to spend is again a plan. I am going to be an actor when I grow up. Again, I have a plan of becoming an actor. So am going to be. Clear? So next one. See some more examples to express. Michelle is going to begin medical store next year. So it's again a plan. Now for the plan, what he has used is going to begin. They are going to drive all the way to Alaska. So they have not yet driven. They are making a plan. So are going to drive. Who are you going to invite to the party? So you're planning, right? So who all you will invite? Are going to invite. So it's again the plans are there. So now will be plus going to express a very important no future in time clauses. So whenever you have a time clause which will start with like when, while, before, after, by the time, as soon as, if, unless, etc. So at that time when a time clause is there, we will not use the future tense. We will use the simple future, instead of simple future, we'll use the simple present tense. Like when you will arrive tonight, we will go out for a dinner. This is wrong. So because when is there, it is talking about time. When is for time. When time clause is there, we will not use will. No future. At that time, we have to use the present tense. So when you arrive tonight, we will go out for dinner. So this is fine. So the point of this slide is when the time clause is there, we will not use the future tense. We will not use future, present, simple future. We'll use the simple present tense. Clear? All of you? Yeah, so the point of the slide is clear. Let's move ahead to the next slide now. Now we talk about the continuous tense. The continuous tense could be present continuous, past continuous, future continuous. So in continuous tense, now in whichever form it is, we will use the present participle. That is verb plus ing form will be there. And if it is a present participle, you will have forms of to be like am, is, are, anything out of this plus verb plus ing. Right? Something that is happening right now. For that we will use the present continuous tense. So present continuous tense is used to express that something is happening right now at this particular moment. That action is continuously going on. Right? It started and it is right now also it is going on. Say like you are learning English now. So are learning is the present continuous. Right now this action is happening. Are you sleeping? So right now are you sleeping? Am sitting. Right now you are sweating. Why aren't you doing your homework? So right now you are not doing your homework. Please be quiet. The students are giving the exam. Are giving is the right now students are giving the exam. Clear? Now present continuous forms, as we have discussed, that am is are plus the present participle, which is the verb plus ing form will be there. So the longer action in progress now. So how the present continuous will say that the process of doing a longer action which is in progress, right? We might not be doing it at the exact time of speaking, but it started some time back and it continued for a long time, right? But we might not be doing right now. Right now this action is not happening, but it continued for us some time in the recent past. So I am attending classes at Anil Nair classes to clear SSC CGL exam. So I am attending. At present I am not, but I go regularly over there. Got it? I am reading the book. So right now I might not be reading, but continuously every day I read this book, right? I am not reading any books right now. So that means right now I am not reading, but like recently I have not purchased any book to read, right? So I am reading. Next one, near future plans or some planned action is there. That time also we can use the present continuous. Sometimes the speakers, they say that present continuous to show that something will or will not happen in the near future. See, I am meeting some friends after a week. So I am meeting. Is he visiting his parents next weekend? So after work is future. So next weekend is again future. Isn't he coming with us tonight? So right now it's not night. Maybe afternoon hai. But you're talking about a planned action for the near future. So always remember a planned action for the near future. So what all we have learned, that is we have action going on right now. Action continuing right now. So it is like second one is what? It started, right? Not going on right now, right? But the third one is the planned action. Clear? The next one. The fourth, the present continuous is also used to show something which is happening before or after a given time. This is important. Before or after a given time. When I reach home, my children are watching television. So there is a particular time given. That is when I reach home at that particular time, my children are watching television. When I reach office a particular time, everyone is doing their work. Is doing is consistently, right? So present continuous. Next one, when we talk about the past continuous. So past continuous is the first is we, was, were plus present participle we will use. So use the past continuous to indicate action. A longer action in the past was interrupted. Interruption is usually a shorter action in a simple past. So I was watching TV when she called. So this was a longer action and this is the shorter action. So but both the actions happened in the past. So this is the long action. This is the short action. Got it? But both are in the past. See, when the phone rang, she was writing. So was writing is a longer action. Ringing of the phone was shorter action, right? What were you doing when the earthquake occurred? So were doing is the longer action and occurred is the simple past, which is the shorter action. I was listening to music, so I didn't hear the fire alarm. So was listening is a longer action and then the shorter action is didn't hear, right? You were not listening to me when I told you to turn the oven off. So were not listening is the longer action. Told is the shorter action. So in the past two action happened. A longer action and a shorter action. An interrupted action, right? So interrupted action in the past. The action which was interrupted actually was gone for a continued for a longer time. And then and that longer action was interrupted by a shorter action, right? but both the things happened in the past only. Clear? Now, two parallel actions were there. That time also we'll use the past continuous tense. See, when you use the past continuous with two actions in the same sentence, it expresses the ideas that both the actions were happening at the same times. These actions are called as the parallel actions, like this. I was studying while he was making dinner. Two actions. One side he is making dinner, the other side I was studying. While Anita was reading, Anu was watching. So both of them happening simultaneously. Were you listening while he was talking? So he's talking and you're listening. Both the actions runs parallelly. I wasn't paying attention while I was writing the letter, so I made several mistakes. So was not paying attention is one action. The second action, similar time or the same time was writing. Clear? So this is what is the two parallel actions. We will use the present past continuous. Now when you use the past continuous with two actions in the same sentence, that both the actions were happening at the same times. They are called as the parallel. What were you doing while you were waiting? So yeah, let's continue with the past continuous. The first use we have already discussed. Now the second use is when the two actions are happening parallelly, right? So when one action is happening at that time continuously, at the same time another action was also happening, right? So both the actions were happening at the same times. So see, both the actions are happening at the same time, but actions were parallel to each other. Like, what were you doing while you were waiting? So were doing is happening the first action. At the same time another action was also happening in the while you were waiting. But both the actions are happening in the past only, right? So Tanu wasn't working and I wasn't working either. So Tanu was not working. That means one action was happening and at the same time another action was also happening in the past, was also not working, right? So first action and the second action, both of them are parallel to each other in the past. So this is past continuous. They were eating dinner. Were eating is the past continuous. Dinner, discussing their plans and having a good time. So all the actions are like discussing and having, all are having in the parallelly the three actions are happening. That is eating, discussing and having the good time was happening together. Parallelly three actions were taking place. Clear? Next slide. Atmosphere. Past continuous is like, see, we often use a series of parallel actions to describe the atmosphere at a particular time in the past, right? So regarding the atmosphere at a particular time, see, example, see, when I walked into the office, several people were busily typing, were talking on the phones, the boss was giving directions and customers were waiting to be helped. One customer was screaming at the secretary and waving his hats, hence while others were complaining to each other about the bad service. So what was the atmosphere in the past? So he walked into the office, right? That was one action. Now parallelly at that time he is trying to explain at that time what was happening. The people were busily typing. This is the first action. Second, they were talking over the phone. Third, their boss was giving directions. Fourth one is customers were waiting. All that action was continuing in the past at that time for a long time, right? So was screaming and then waving their heads, were complaining. So you have 6 to 7 actions were continuing at that time, right? So that time, like atmosphere, you are explaining the atmosphere or the environment of that particular place in the past. So that time, that environment continued for some time. So that is why we will use the past continuous. Next slide. Again, atmosphere only by using when and while. When and while. When and while both are talking about the things in the past, right? Time. When is most often followed by the verb simple past tense. Whereas while is usually followed by past continuous. So when will be having the simple past, whereas while will have the past continuous. Remember that. While expresses the idea of during that time, they have the similar meaning, but they emphasize different parts of the sentence, right? Say, I was studying when she called. So this is what I was studying when she called. So in the when clause, we are using called, the simple past, right? While I was studying, she called. So in the while clause, we have used the past continuous. Right? In the when clause, we will use the simple past. In the while clause, we will use the past continuous. Clear? So with the when we have used simple past, whereas with while we'll use the past continuous. This will help you to solve a lot of questions actually. Remember this, that's it.
Press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.